If a tree is in stress, you don't treat the tree, you treat the soil. Because the health of the tree is the health of the soil. And the health of the soil is the soil food web, which is one handful of good soil's got billions of living organisms.
I'm Ricky Folse, known as the Tree Messiah from the Cajun Bayou, board certified arborist, qualified in multiple other things, PPQ under Dr. Ed Gilman, tree assessment qualified, several other credentials, but nothing compared to this man I have right next to me. He's the leading forensic arborist in the Gulf States, as well as professor in 4 subjects, and he taught at LSU as well as Florida State. And he also took care of the trees over 30 years at LSU, and he is my main mentor. He's been teaching me a lot of, almost all this stuff actually. We met in Memphis at a conference, and he's a veteran from the Korean War era, and he took me under his wing when he found out what I do for the veterans and seen how eager I was to learn. So I'm great to have him, Dr. Malcolm.
I feel upstaged. I got like a 4-star general here. Anyway, but I'm happy. I'm happy to give my opinions today and my thoughts, my ideas, and so hopefully they've been helpful.
Absolutely, and I'm so grateful that Ben's let me work on these trees that I wanted to bring you in to make sure I was beyond on point. They mean so much to me.
Yeah.
All right, Doc, tell us a little bit about this tree.
Well, judging from its size, that is considerable more trunk diameter as compared to any of the other trees, which to me is a clear indication that this tree was an original tree by natural establishment, that I don't think anybody planted this tree. Now, the other trees on the site are considerably smaller in scale, in diameter, trunk size, that obviously that they were planted. Now, when you look at an oak grove such as you have here, if you look around, that where is another oak grove? They're not there. So which tells you that these trees were basically of not natural origin. I believe this one was, and I believe the other ones were planted, and it's obvious they were planted because the surrounding areas, they don't have any oak groves. Any oak trees you see are in association with a piece of property, with some type of home that at historic level to it. And this one was in the late 1800s, I think, built.
I think 64, 65.
So anyway, that obviously when they built this, they planted trees. That's what I see. And from what I can see, the general health of these trees is good. Now, they've reached an age that they're not really growing. They're in a state of just managing to live on, and so it's kind of what would I say? The age of these things, normally they say 300 years, 400 years, they start declining, and that you can see evidence of that in them, but that they're not growing, but each year they are putting on an annual ring, and the annual ring is so narrow, so thin, that if you took the pages of a tablet, they would probably be about the size the annual ring for each year at the age of these trees is so thin. You just hold the tablet up and look at the ends of the pages is what it would look like.
Now we're going to look at, Doc, we have a center dead leader and the one next to it. And I would like to get your opinion on what may have caused that, maybe a lightning strike or what have you.
Well,
we'll move over to that one.
I'd say dead wooding. Mm-hmm. You don't want to take anything that's got green leaves.
Green. None at all.
If there are green leaves on it, you don't want to take it.
Now this tree, when I measured it,
broken limb or something, but
when I measured this tree, it's 31 feet in diameter, which is 115 dBH, diameter at breast height. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 350 ounces of biochar Vitablend into the ground along with 2 packs of oat soil. And then I'm going to come back at 30. I'm going to apply the wood chips afterwards. We may run the air spade and just break it up a bit.
Yeah.
And then we'll do our injections, half the tank, which is a 150 gallon.
Well,
then spray the rest on top per tree. And put the wood chips. In 30 days, I'll come back and inject the same biochar and oat blend, and again at 60 days.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like a great plan.
So when we're done, this entire area here is going to be all wood chips, like a natural. What we're trying to do is, as I've said before, is reestablish a natural forest floor environment where you have microscopic organisms, bacteria, fungi coexisting with each other with the tree to break down nutrients in a form that the tree can take up. Then in return, a tree feeds the organisms.
You're correct, because the health of the tree is the health of the soil, and the health of the soil is the soil food web, which is one handful of good soil's got billions of living organisms, and it's the bacteria and the fungi in that soil which is responsible for the health of the tree.
I'm Ricky Folse, known as the Tree Messiah from the Cajun Bayou, board certified arborist, qualified in multiple other things, PPQ under Dr. Ed Gilman, tree assessment qualified, several other credentials, I can think of it, but nothing compared to this man I have right next to me. He's the leading forensic arborist in the Gulf States, as well as professor in 4 subjects, and he taught at LSU as well as Florida State, and he also took care of the trees over 30 years at LSU, and he is my main mentor, who's been teaching me a lot of almost all this stuff actually. We met in Memphis at a conference, and he's a veteran from the Korean War era, and he took me under his wing when he found out what I do for the veterans and seen how eager I was to learn. So I'm great to have him, Dr. Malcolm.
I feel upstage. I got like a 4-star general here. Anyway, but I'm happy to give my opinions today and my thoughts, my ideas, and so hopefully they've been helpful.
Absolutely, and I'm so grateful that Ben's let me work on these trees that I wanted to bring you in to make sure I was beyond on point. They mean so much to me.
Because nitrogen has to be broken down, and the bacteria break it down to a form of nitrogen that the tree can pick up. It can't pick up nitrogen in the nitrate form. It has to be broken down.
Which is done by the microscopic organisms that basically eat and release it.
I said nitrate form. In the for example, atmospheric nitrogen.
When the lightning cracks and drops
78%, but it's inert. So inert nitrogen has to be broken down.
To become urethra, is it?
Yeah, well, we breathe 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen. But that it's of no use, but it's there as a ready supply. And when the lightning is so hot, it separates the nitrogen, and when it separates, those separated parts attach to oxygen molecules, and it forms a nitrous oxide, which comes to the ground in the rain, and then it soaks into the ground, and then the bacteria convert it from atmospheric nitrogen to ammonia, and from ammonia to ammonium nitrate, and ammonium nitrate, and plant the tree roots can pick it up and use it. So you're right. Returning the ground around this tree
with
to
arborist wood chips, not that stuff from Lowe's. That's garbage.
To what nature would do in the wild, and so
people rake all the food away from the tree and let this grass grow.
Well, live oak trees are not
meant to have grass.
They're not front lawn trees as such.
Ornamentals.
Yeah, right. And people use them as ornamental and elements in their landscape.
Nobody believes that grass is going to affect the tree.
They originally, genetically, they are forest trees. So doing what you suggest, returning the soil back to the soil food web.
Correct. Natural forest
fungi in the soil is treating the soil. If a tree is in stress, you don't treat the tree, you treat the soil. So you're right. So I agree with you. Yeah. Good
now,
idea.
Doc, with the grass, people want to plant all kind of stuff underneath. Is it a fact that the grass's roots are so tightly niched that they eat a lot of the nutrients before the tree can even get it?
Well, yes and no.
They compete with each other.
Yes and no. But the tree uses elements in parts per million. So the grass is not gonna deplete the soil of the nutrient elements. The only one is nitrogen, which is elusive, and you can't store it in the soil. Everything wants it. All organisms want nitrogen, and it doesn't stay. Most other elements you can build in the soil and build them up. But look, these trees wouldn't have grown for hundreds of years if this site wasn't
good soil.
Yeah, you see,
which we know it came. This Bayou Lafourche was a lake of the Mississippi.
This is right. You see,
and as it overfilled, it dropped sediment.
How did these trees get to be this size, this age, without nobody fooling with them? And so the problem is with a tree is when the hand of man comes into play, then problems emerge.
Tree's worst enemy is man.
Yeah, right. So the enemy of a tree is people.
And construction and everything else they do, chemicals.
Well, that's just right.
So, and also, Doc, about them removing all the leaf litter and stuff from under these trees.
Yeah, right.
It's taking all the food. If they would just leave God's fertilizer, or it naturally comes on the ground, the trees would have a lot more food.
That's it.
So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put the stuff back that they took.
What happens is it's water, because the ground can become so hard it becomes hydrophobic, and a hellacious rain, the water runs off, it don't sink in.
Like the sponge you showed me at your house.
Yes, you see. So there's a water deficit, and so it takes moisture to take the elements in the soil up to the leaves for photosynthesis.
Transpiration does that, correct?
If we don't have good hydration,
there's no water to take the minerals up.
Yeah. So when you mulch, you are assuring that the tree is going to have moisture to move the elements.
Because the wood chips holds moisture, which is great for when a drought happens.
This is right.
And does it not also help for a freeze to help define roots with a little bit of a layer to protect them from that freeze? It works for everything, right?
Don't worry about that.
It's helpful when it's cold. Mulch.
Right.
Mulch is good for everything. Let's rephrase that.
Yeah.
Arborist wood chips. We don't want the people going to buy mulch from Lowe's and throw it under their trees.
No.
That's garbage.
You want whole tree mulch.
Yeah, like we get from the power company.
Yeah, right.
That's what as you saw at the other location, they had green leaves still in there.
Yeah, right.
Wonderful.
Whole tree mulch. Leaves, twigs, branches, That's what you want.
You know, the customer's always hesitant when you tell them you want to put wood chips out to the drip edge, but when they actually see it in the end, they love
Yeah.
it. Like I did Governor Landry's house, and he was a little hesitant. His wife said, Jeff, trust him, let him do it. Jeff called me and said, man, it looked great. Never thought it would look that
But
good.
pond straw is cosmetic. And these dyed wood
Yeah,
chips.
mostly might be pallets. It might be pallets they grind
Yeah,
up.
right.
That's why we see arborist wood
you
chips, not
you
mulch.
want leaves and twigs.
Yeah.
It's called labile, which means slow breakdown of organic matter, and it seeps into the soil at a slow rate, and it facilitates the growth and health and populations of the soil food web of
And mycorrhizae and everything else.
of microorganisms. That's right.
Now, Doc, what is the biochar going to do that I'm putting in the ground? It's an already charged biochar. It has humus in it, so we're not putting an uncharged biochar. We're putting a liquid biochar in here with humus already in it, and we're going to add the ectomycorrhizae over the old soil. But the carbon is what really helps the soil.
Well, the carbon is organic matter. The carbon is organic matter.
Doesn't the biochar also help percolate the soil
Yes.
a bit when it's and help?
Right.
Like if you have too much salt or something, it can also help with that.
Right.
And it helps with water.
It does. So it's got all the advantages that you could ever think of. It's perfect. Yeah.
So my plan that I gave you before, that I wanted your opinion on, looks like the right deal to go with. What we spoke
yeah.
about. Dead woodum,
Yeah.
biochar,
Yeah.
wood chips,
Yes.
3 applications of the injections.
That's perfect. Yeah.
We're going to inject half, and then we're going to spray the rest on the top, put the wood chip on top. That way those microbes can work their way up as well.
That's perfect.
And
yeah.
as long as you maintain a 4-inch level of wood chips and don't
Yeah.
let it decompact, you don't get the weed growth and stuff. Because
Well, it helps control weeds. That's right.
so that's why every year you come add another inch to keep it that way. But I'm really excited to see how these trees. I have been wanting to treat these trees and work on these trees for years, and I'm very honored Ben let me come do it. So I can't wait to see how it looks with all the wood chips and once they're dead.
Now, the grass, if you're going to mulch over the grass, you cut the grass as close you can.
Okay.
Cut it. Just put the wood chips right on the grass.
So I'll have him drop the blade and come past before I put the chips.
Yeah, right. Because it'll kill the grass.
Fantastic. I'm so grateful that Ben's let me work on these trees that I wanted to bring you in to make sure I was
Yeah.
beyond on point. They mean
Yeah.
so much to me.
You're on point. Doing a good job.